Hello and happy Monday. I'm Rochelle with ConfidentDreaming.com, your Disney life coach and energy alchemist, here today with your magical Monday message. And today's message is, we don't talk about Bruno. Now, I know I've done a post on Silencio Bruno. The way these movies are made, they're technically two different companies. Pixar's located in Emeryville, and most of Disney Animation is located in Bruno. By the way, if you don't know, Silencio Bruno is from Luca, which is a Disney Pixar movie. And We Don't Talk About Bruno is from Encanto. It's the second of our 3 weeks of talking about the music from Encanto. And in Silencio Bruno and Luca, we talked about, they randomly named that voice in your head that tells you you can't do something as Bruno. And you say, Silencio Bruno, and you go do the thing you're scared to do. Fantastic. Which is kind of ironic that in this movie, Bruno, which was one of the names used because of rhyming purposes, is the name of the relative that they don't talk about. Most of us have relatives we don't talk about, or family secrets, which Bruno is as well. And what happens? They still get out. If you listen closely to the lyrics, the first one says, that his prophecies were awful and it made it rain on her wedding day and they got married in a hurricane, but it was still a joyous day. So they're really focusing on the negative instead of what went right that day. They talk about they grew up living in fear of Bruno because they didn't understand him. They couldn't understand his prophecies. They couldn't understand him, so they feared him. And with Abuela being the leader, and that was her son, if she's scared of him, that makes everybody else. And rather than be curious and not scared, which we will get to Ted Lasso in a couple weeks, but rather than be curious and ask him for clarification or embracing him for who he was, they were scared of him. And eventually he was kicked out. And eventually we just don't talk about it. We don't want to upset Abuela, so we don't talk about him. Which I think if my son were kicked out, I wouldn't want to talk about him either. But it's more, they don't talk about him, and not kicked out, he did run away-ish, because they were scared. And they didn't want Abuela to get upset. Can't upset the matriarch in the family. We can't have honest conversation because of this kind of secret that's going on. Camilo, called 7 foot frame, but Camilo was 5 when he disappeared. It said, your fate is sealed when your prophecy is read. Excuse me. But that's up to interpretation. Prophecies are just one way. We still have free choice. And if you've seen the movie, you know why the prophecy, but it looks like if you were to see the prophecy about Maribel on the surface is that she's there to destroy the family. And then when the cracks happen, that's Abuela believing the prophecies come true. She's destroyed the family. Whereas if you look at the prophecy another way, you shift that picture, those cracks get healed. And that is what Maribel's supposed to do. She is healing this family, person by person, time by time. Because we don't talk about Bruno and we don't talk about what's going on, and they believe the prophecy is one way, when it's open to interpretation, it's dividing the family. Secrets divide. Secrets, like in Legends of the Fall, are like water that gets into a crack of the rock. It freezes and it's going to break it. We don't talk about Bruno is we don't talk about these family secrets. We don't talk about people. And what happens when we don't talk about things? Be it history. I found out recently people don't know where Russia is, our young people, and that's kind of scary. If we don't talk about history, there's books about the Holocaust being banned, right? There's books or not allowed to talk about the Holocaust. If we were to research why maybe Hitler did what he did, we won't allow it to be repeated again, but we're just not allowed to talk about it. And that's taken, we don't talk about a family member onto a huge global scale. But if we can't talk about it, if we can't talk about alternative ways of healing, if we can't talk about, COVID was huge. One message only. We can't talk about anything else. Then it fractures us and it breaks us. It separates us into us and them. Is that how you want to live? Isolated and alone? And fighting with people? Or do we want to live with support and community and open discussion? We are meant to grow. I'm not meant to hold one view forever. Gosh, I can't imagine what life would be like if I believed the same things I did when I was 18 and newly an adult. And, you all know 18-year-olds. Or we were them, thinking we know everything. Let's talk about Bruno. What's the elephant in the room? Bring it up, talk it out, be civil. Listen. Don't listen with the intent to respond. Listen with the intent to learn. If that family learned about Bruno and hadn't already begun to shun him, he wouldn't have run away after Mirabelle's prophecy that nobody had seen. He was worried. He was protecting her, so he ran away because he knew how the family judged him. They weren't curious. So while Silencio Bruno is about quieting that fear inside you and going after your dreams and what you want and being scared and doing it anyways, don't talk about Bruno, that's avoiding. And avoidance, what happens if you have a cut on your hand that you avoid and you ignore? It festers and it rots and it grows. It's a sickness. So let's stop avoiding each other. Let's come together with love, generosity, and an open heart and open ears and change this world for the better, because it is possible. And on that note, if you haven't heard, my Gift of Change project is open for booking. I'm gifting 30 hours of coaching in the month of April to 30 people, so 1 hour per person, who are looking for change in their life. Maybe you know what that change is you want, and you just don't know how to get started. Maybe you don't know. You just know you need change. Or maybe you've started and stopped and started and stopped, and you just want to know how to keep going without stopping. Whatever it is, I invite you to book an hour with me. It's amazing the answers that can come and the clarity that will come in that hour of working together. If there is a time that you are available that I am not, shoot me a message. I'm willing to work with you. It's how much I believe in the power of this program. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.